Welcome to another episode of the Curtis Zone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me as we talk all things action-packed children's programming. And today we are talking about, or basically revisiting, an episode of Ben 10. We're doing a Ben 10 episode because, as you know, I have better editing equipment and I've done more stuff with it. We're also going to be doing a bit of a how powerful would he be or an evolution. I haven't decided yet. I'll flip a coin over it later. But for right now, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to, as always with these history of episodes, I'm going to be talking about his origin, both fictional and non-fictional. We're also going to be talking about important moments, favorite moments, and ending it all with powers and abilities of the main protagonist. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, enjoy, and before we get started, news. The first piece of news is this: the Street Fighter cast has started their filming process, and the studio both Paramount and the Atomic Monster Studios have all set a release date, which is to happen 5 months after the new release date of Mortal Kombat 2. Speaking of which, characters have been set and more cast members have been brought in as well. In fact, Mel Johnson, who you may remember as Natara in the 2021 Mortal Kombat, has joined the cast of Street Fighter to play the role of Cammy. The decision was down between her and Lily Reinhardt, but Lily Reinhardt has some sort of scheduling conflict going on. I can't wait to see Street Fighter. However, that's just me talking. Can anybody else wait to see Street Fighter? The next piece of news is from the world of DC. It is looking like DC is looking to recast Batman with Henry Cavill. However, these are just rumors from what we're hearing, okay? It's looking like nothing is going to be set in stone until after all the paperwork and all the red tape has been put together. That's just from what we're hearing, okay? The final piece of news is this: it has been reported that a Netflix live-action version of Captain Planet is set to release, and a story has been released as well. It's looking like this Captain Planet will be taking place years after the final episode of the series Captain Planet, and all the characters have matured up a little bit and are still Planeteers, and some enemies have come back to harbor the world with pollution and destruction. So they're coming back together and becoming the Planeteers once again. Who will be playing what characters has not been set in stone, has not been set yet. They're currently in their casting process. So let's just wait for that, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get started with this episode. Let's talk about Ben 10. Let's get started with his non-fiction origin. Then we're going to move into the fictional origin, shall we? Let's get started. And remember, like and subscribe. Now, the first Ben 10 series would have its first episode in December of 2005. It lasted exactly 4 seasons, 2 made-for-TV movies, 2 made-for-TV live-action movies, won a Daytime Emmy Award, and had 3 spin-offs. These spin-offs included Ben 10 Alien Force, which premiered in 2008. That lasted 2 seasons until it moved into Ben 10 Ultimate Alien in 2010. This series, Ben 10, was so amazing and fun that it had the merchandising rights for it, all the merchandising for it. It sold more than Barbie and Power Rangers combined. And no, that is not an exaggeration. It literally outsold Barbie and Power Rangers combined, ladies and gentlemen. The series was created by Man of Action Studios, who are also the creative minds behind Generator Rex and The Secret Saturdays. Now that's enough for the non-fiction origin. Let's move into the fictional origin, shall we? And remember, like and subscribe. Centuries ago, an alien going by the name of Azimuth would build something called the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix, which contained the DNA of over 1 million different alien species. He built it as both a weapon and a tool, but Azimuth didn't trust anyone else with it, so he gave it with a being known as Xylene to transport it away from Galvan and keep it safe. Unbeknownst to Xylene, she was being pursued by an alien warlord going by the name of Vilgax. This would lead to a massive battle between her ship and Vilgax's warship. And Vilgax's warship was more formidable than she thought it would be, and so she had no choice but to destroy Vilgax's warship, the bridge of it, be more specific, with him on it. Vilgax would be injured quite badly, but Xylene would send the Omnitrix down to Earth, more specifically to her lover, Max Tennyson. The Omnitrix would travel to Earth, and when it would land right in front of a young man going by the name of Ben Tennyson. Yes, it landed right in front of him. Going to investigate the crash landing, he thought it was some sort of a satellite, but it would turn out to be the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix would then spring up and cling itself to Ben Tennyson and bond to his DNA. But then Ben did something incredibly stupid. The thing is, Ben turned it on, activated it, and became one of the aliens that's on it. And this would start the adventure of a lifetime for his summer vacation and possibly for the rest of his life. In Ben 10 Alien Force, where it was a little different, Ben is now in high school and he has to don the Omnitrix again after his grandfather goes missing. However, the Omnitrix would transform itself into a new version of itself, and with this new version of the Omnitrix comes 10 new sets of aliens that he didn't even recognize. This would lead to an even bigger adventure and with even more enemies. Ben would then take over the mission that his grandpa Max started with his friends Kevin and Gwen, and they would become the Plumbers. And just like that, the origin of Ben 10. Now the official origin is done, let's talk about important moments, ladies and gentlemen. I got 5 that I want to talk about. The first important moment is in the final episode of Season 1 of Ben 10 when we learn about Grandpa Max. He was once one of the Plumbers. Who are the Plumbers, you may ask? The Plumbers are a group of people who protect the world from intergalactic threats, such as Vilgax. When we meet Vilgax, he was once a rival of Max Tennyson, and he is now a rival of Ben Tennyson. It's a pretty awesome series, guys. The second important moment I want to talk about is in the episodes that are the made-for-TV movie called Ben 10 Secrets of the Omnitrix. When we first meet the creator of the Omnitrix, Azimuth. I know I talked about that in Origins, but this is very important because Azimuth created the Omnitrix both as a weapon and as a tool to build as a weapon to fight against alien threats, but at the same time a tool to build relations between other races of aliens. And why a human had it is beyond him, but it was pretty cool to see it. The next important moment we're going to talk about happened in the episode entitled Ben Wolf, when Ben became a werewolf, and it was thought that this werewolf was an actual werewolf, but it was actually an alien werewolf. No, that was working for Ghost Freak. Ghost Freak, who is one of Ben's aliens, but instead he freed himself from the Omnitrix and tried to take over the world, plunge the world into pure darkness with the help of a werewolf, a mummy, and a Frankenstein. This is important because we learn how Ben becomes an alien. He scans DNA from other alternative sources and becomes them, which leads me to a theory about the Omnitrix, that Ben 10 will become a Kryptonian if he scans Superman's DNA. The fourth important moment we're going to talk about is when we meet Kevin Levin. Kevin Levin, who can absorb energy from anything, including a human body. Kevin Levin has the ability to absorb and copy anything. He absorbed the power of the Omnitrix and became all of Ben's aliens combined into one. This is important because he makes an appearance yet again in Ben 10 Alien Force, but instead of being Ben's enemy, he's now Ben's friend. And he can now absorb and copy any solid material, which turns him into anything that he wants, this includes stone, steel, rubber, anything. I thought it was pretty cool. The fifth important moment we're going to talk about is very Gwen specific, when Gwen finally meets Hex. Hex, who is a wizard of some kind, a dark wizard of some kind, who can manipulate magic using the charms of Brazel. However, Gwen destroyed the charms of Brazel. This was until she would find the lost keystone of Brazel and become a power. And then she would also find Hex's old spellbook and become a very powerful wizard. She managed to learn wizardry so much that it moved over to Ben 10 Alien Force. However, it was found out that she wasn't some sort of wizard, but she was also an alien. Her grandmother was an alien who married Max. So, yeah, there's that. I got 4 favorite moments I want to talk about. The first favorite moment I want to talk about is from Ben 10 when we meet Tetrax. Tetrax, the bounty hunter, who is one of Ben 10's closest allies. He's also known as a Petro Sapien. They are basically living diamonds, and I gotta say, his first fight scene that we see him in was so cool that it made me happy. Okay, I'm sorry, I messed up, but it made me happy. My second favorite moment is in the final episodes of Ben 10 Alien Force when Ben 10 would go up against the Hybrids. The Hybrids, who are basically evil versions of, who are basically evil aliens trying to destroy the entire planet because they themselves are dying out. This is my favorite moment because Ben would combine random aliens from the Omnitrix to the Hybrids and basically cure them of all of their diseases. So yeah, I love that moment. That was pretty cool. My third favorite moment is in Ben 10 Alien Force as well, when we first meet Paradox. Paradox, who is a time-traveling superhero. The Paradox had created an experiment back in the 1940s that sort of turned him into a time-traveling superhero. He can travel in and out of the time stream anywhere he wants to go at any time. I thought it was pretty cool because he time travels without a time machine. He has a map. It's in his head. Yes, that's cool. My final favorite moment that I want to talk about is in Ben 10 Secrets of the Omnitrix, when Ben would first transform into the character Way-Big, and he would defeat the character known as Vilgax. Yes, I thought that was pretty cool. That's just me talking. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Now, with all that said and done, let's talk powers and abilities, ladies and gentlemen. Ben 10 has the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix contains the DNA of over 1 million different alien species. Some of these alien species have different powers. The first being Four Arms, who has super strength; Accelerate, who has super speed. You have Diamond Head, who has the ability to turn his entire body into diamonds; Chromastone, who has the ability to absorb energy and redirect it into laser blasts. You have lots of different aliens. Now, Ben uses the Omnitrix to fight against enemies, but the Omnitrix also has many other abilities as well, including speaking the language of the aliens that he transforms into. Now, it can only work for 10 minutes at a time, because if it works any longer, then that means that Ben will succumb to the power of the alien that he is currently transformed into, and won't be able to transform back into himself ever again. So yeah, in other words, you don't want to mess with Ben Tennyson. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Curtis Zone, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you want more questions, comments, concerns, if you have any requests for any episode period, put in the comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be shy, really get into the conversation, alright? I hope to see you guys very soon, because as you can see, next episode's going to be pretty cool. I was saving it for Halloween, but no, we're saving it now, okay? So, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.